So this is part of a concerted political and religious movement that's been happening for decades. I mean, I remember when I was a kid hearing sermons and listening to activists talk about abortion and how it was the single most important issue, period, end of story.
Oh, wow.
And they would actually call people to commit to only voting for people who support bans on abortion. What is commonly believed by many Christians and most Christians who are evangelical, fundamentalists, or conservative Christians, that abortion is a life and death issue. Not just for the infants, but also for the Christians themselves and for the sovereignty of the nation, that the sovereignty of our nation is actually at stake here. And they base this on certain biblical narratives. So in the Bible, a lot of the Old Testament is about God proclaiming judgment against God's people through the prophets. And one of the biggies, the big no-nos, was worshiping other gods. It was primarily about they were worshiping other gods, and God got really jealous and wrathful about that. And also the shedding of innocent blood is mentioned as a reason for God's wrath in many passages. And the worship of other gods could include child sacrifice. So like in 2 Kings 17:17 says the Israelites sacrificed their sons and daughters in the fire and worshiping other gods. What happens in the Old Testament is God exiles Israel, and it says the land will vomit you out of it, and that I'll bring national invasion, genocide, plague, all kinds of wrath is going to go down for this mass moral degeneracy and shedding of innocent blood. So abortion is then depicted as this national genocide that we're perpetrating, that we're killing millions of innocent lives who can't speak for themselves, and that this is fueling demon worship. It's like this mass child sacrifice, demon worship of these foreign gods. And so all of this is happening, and it's provoking the wrath of God in Old Testament style, where actually what the result of this might be is a foreign nation invading the United States and conquering us, and us experiencing mass death and mass warfare and all of the kind of biblical threats that happened for genocide and worshiping other gods. So for them, this is really a life and death issue. This is really about our nation being at stake and our lives being at stake, because it's hyped up to that level.